On this recording, we will talk about instrument transfer. We already know about the grasp, so now we need to move to learning to remove them from the instrument tray to the dentist. Our objective as a dental assistant is to transfer our instruments with our left hand. This would be with a right-handed operator. If you are assisting a left-handed operator, you would transfer your instruments with your right hand. But as we know, the majority of our operators are probably going to be right-handed, which means as a dental assistant, we have to transfer them with the left hand. We want to only use class 1, 2, and 3 motions, so that it doesn't involve our arm or our elbows or our shoulders. We want to keep that motion as low to the fingers and the hand and wrist as possible. We want to transfer instruments in the position of use, and this is referred to as four-handed dentistry. Here we have a tray set up. This is one way to maintain organization and be prepared for a procedure, is to have your hand instruments in a preset cassette or an instrument tray. Instruments are arranged in the order of use. So in other words, the instruments are placed in the sequence the dentist will use them during a procedure. So when we set up our trays or our cassettes, if we are assisting a right-handed operator, we're going to transfer with our left hand, and our instruments will start closest to the operator. So we will put our instruments in order of use from left to right. Transferring instrument in the position of use. The working end of the instrument the dentist prefers to use will be placed away from the assistant on the instrument tray. So these are the working ends that the dentist prefers. Most of our instruments are double-ended, so they are placed away from the assistant on the tray, so the assistant can pick them up from the non-working end and transfer them to the dentist. The assistant will retrieve the instrument from the tray setup using the thumb, the index, and the middle finger of the left hand. An assistant using one-handed instrument transfer will use their left hand to transfer the instruments when working with a right-handed operator. The grasp of the instrument at the end of the handle or opposite the working end. In transferring the instrument from the tray to the transfer zone ensures that the instrument will be parallel to the instrument in the dentist's hand. So when the dental assistant retrieved this instrument from the tray, she's using the transfer zone over the patient's chest. She has this instrument parallel with the instrument that the dentist is holding, because she's going to have to use 2 fingers to retrieve this instrument and deliver this instrument into the dentist's hand. The assistant must deliver it into the dentist's hand with the appropriate amount of pressure. So the goal is that the pressure placed with the instrument will allow the dentist to use their tactile sensory in their hand to feel the instrument and not have to look up from the oral cavity to see if the instrument has been placed in their hand. So they should be able to feel the instrument being placed in their hand. Here, the assistant is delivering the instrument. So she's retrieved this instrument and delivered this one. When we retrieve the used instrument back from the dentist, we use the last 2 fingers of the left hand to retrieve the instrument. Position the new instrument firmly into the operator's grasp. Place the instrument back on the tray setup. So when this one is delivered, the assistant now has the used instrument in their hand. Now they can remove it and take it back to the tray. Again, working in the transfer zone. There are 3 basic instruments that we call the basic setup. Two of those instruments are called a mouth mirror and an explorer. When beginning a procedure, the dentist will immediately use the mouth mirror and the explorer to check the oral cavity. The dental assistant should anticipate this. The dentist will signal to the assistant by placing one hand on each side of the patient's mouth, indicating they are ready to start the procedure. So the dentist will want a mouth mirror and an explorer in order to look into the oral cavity to see what needs to be done. Once they sit down, they will put their hand on each side of the patient's head, and that is a signal to transfer the two instruments simultaneously using a two-handed exchange. So as you notice, this is a right-handed operator. So the explorer will go in the operator's right hand. The mirror will go in the operator's left hand. The third instrument that goes in the basic setup is called cotton pliers. The assistant should transfer the cotton pliers by pinching the working end, this is the working end, and transferring the handle to the dentist to grasp. This allows an item to be transferred in the beaks of the cotton pliers. Here the assistant is grasping the beaks of the cotton pliers. She has a cotton roll inside of the beaks, and she is transferring the instrument to the dentist's hand so that the dentist can grasp the handles. Next, we need to look at instrument with hinges and how they are transferred. They are transferred by grasping the hinge of the instrument. When the instrument is in the open position, the assistant transfers them by placing them in the palm of the dentist's hand or over the dentist's fingers. The assistant can very carefully place the ring of the instrument handle onto the dentist's fingers. Here, this is a hinged instrument being transferred to the dentist. They are being held by the hinge, and if you will notice, they are slightly open. Being held by the hinge, they are putting the rings of the instrument onto the dentist's fingers. A two-handed transfer is acceptable when transferring heavier instruments or two hinged instruments. The dental assistant can transfer using the two-handed technique. So here she could lift the instrument up off of the fingers, retrieve it, and deliver the other instrument into the palm of the dentist. In the one-handed transfer, we will transfer only with the left hand. The right hand is not involved unless it is a two-handed transfer. The right hand is reserved to operate the HVE, the saliva ejector, and the air water syringe.